All right.
Yes.
Hello.
I was starting to make up lyrics to that song. I was loving it.
Thanks. It's
It
an
gets us,
original.
it gets us going. Now, everybody who's been with us for what, Jeanette, 34 weeks?
Yeah.
Are we in 34?
This is number 36.
Oh my
35.
gosh. We're 2 weeks older. Yay! 36 weeks. You guys know our theme song. We are here. It is Friday. We are live. And we have a very, 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 very special guest. We're just so excited. And we might be a few minutes late because we've been gabbing. And we're like,
We haven't been. Yeah, we're like, wait, when's the show starting?
Yeah. I'm right here. I saw the time. Hey, we gotta go.
Okay, and you guys got to let me know if I fall because I've got a pillow under my backside because I'm too short and I think I'm leaning. So if you see me go over, you know why. Anyway, I am Jenny. I am the other half of the Having Fun with J&J. Jeanette's over there. There she is. And we have her back. Thank God. She was a little under the weather, but she's looking good. And we have Chuck Casso from Alignable. He's the head of
So
PR
happy to be here. Yay.
and content marketing. A lot of you, almost all of you, have been from Alignable. So we hope you're watching. And I know we've been talking to Chuck, and he's going to talk about some things. We're not going to do a normal, so Chuck, how did you get started? We're just we're gonna have some fun. Jeanette is the one that made this connection, so I have to give her kudos. And she's gonna share a little bit about the little history with Chuck. And I'm gonna pipe down for not long though. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
no,
hard.
she never does. No,
And
that's a
my brain is going.
Okay, so everybody, this is Chuck, and I met Chuck on Alignable. Actually, he is I want to say your correct title, so you say it.
Well, my title kind of changes, but I'm basically the head of PR, the head of news, the head of research, and the head of content marketing.
Okay.
And also, I'm probably most famous for being the guy who created the contests. So that's
okay, and we'll get into that in a minute.
right.
But I met him, and I don't know. I was like a few months ago. I was featured, and me and Jenny were featured on this article that he wrote, and it's been a blessing because everybody's been coming, wanting to be on the show and things like that. So that's great. But yeah, Chuck is one of those that he will motivate anybody to even pick up and start writing. Okay. So this is why, and I just fell in love with his whole concept of Wednesdays at 1 on Alignable. He has this connection that basically connects, and it's not you going on breakout sessions like we usually do, but it's about showing your successes and how you got there so everybody can succeed. They share their successes, how they got there, and I've been on there twice. So
Yeah.
but I'll let you tell more about that. Go ahead, Chuck.
Okay, so we have our power networking hour where it is the only, and again, this is, I'm the funky creative. I'm one of about 5 funky creatives at the company. Okay. So, and I was like, I love Smart Connects. They're the best, whatever, but they're a little, I love the one-on-ones, right? But then my group started out of the contest, different people who've done well on contests. And then it turned into a power networking hour where it's like these people are really good networkers who've really made a lot of money through relationships and all of that on Alignable. And keep telling us the stories, guys. Update your stories so other people can too. And so at one point we were going to split off after a bit. None of us wanted to. We just all wanted to stay together. So it turned into the group get together. So we have to call it a totally different thing because the Smart Connect is branded, but it's within the same framework. But you could have 20 people there. You could have 30 or 40. As the contest kicks in January and February, we're probably going to have 100 all at the same time. and it's just a sort of a free for all. It's almost like a modern day version of Cheers, where you have some of the regulars, okay,
Uh-huh.
and then you have newbies, friends that brought it who come in, and we're like, newbies, if you have questions, if you and nothing is out of bounds, just be polite, but if you have questions, bring them up, because these are the people who are going to help you succeed on Alignable, and that's, I mean, this is where it's your show is doing this. A lot of other things are doing for different groups. A lot of the Smart Connects are doing things. But with your show, what's so special about what you guys do, I think, is that you're focused on crafters. And when I started at Alignable 6 years ago, I was coming off of 6 years of owning my own business, and joined Alignable. And I was basically like, small business people need more credit for what they're doing. Like, I came in there with a passion, and it's built every day, because I'm just like, their voices aren't being heard. So we're doing all these polls to get out to the media and policymakers. We do get quoted in Congress sometimes. We get, great coverage. We were just in an AP story all over the place, but it's all about recognition. And then you guys go to the crafters, who, I love the crafters. The crafters are doing things that are brand new and modern and innovative. And they're also doing things that all of us did. Well, not all of us, but other past lives did 300 years ago, and bringing those crafts into modern society. And it's so important to help the crafters, because the crafters are really the fabric of America and Canada. When you think about it, they're the creatives, and they need to come up with creative solutions for the country, the whole thing. So I'm all about the crafters.
Yes.
Well, and the crafters, thing about the crafters too, and Chuck and I and Jeanette are talking about this. Everybody kind of does have a craft. Everybody kind of does a little thing that they like to. They say it helps them with. Some people do it for depression. Some people has it, as a hobby. Some people do it to relax. Some people, they get into stuff and they learn it. And everybody can benefit from being a crafter. And what Alignable does, it allows them, because by nature, when you're doing a craft, you're by yourself, and so you don't have a lot of outreach. You're sitting in your house. Jeanette and I always talk about we're the ones at 11 o'clock at night are still, we're crafting. And we know there's a million other crafters doing the same thing, because that's their downtime. The kids are in bed, husband or wife are asleep, And we also have a lot of husband and wife crafters together.
Yes.
And we had one that she was so cute. She didn't really want to be on camera. And we finally got her to go, and we asked her where they do their meetings, like, how do you guys do your board meetings? And she's like, oh, we kind of do them in the hot tub. And we were hysterical. We were like, that's so cool. Like, if you're a husband and wife.
She's shy to appear on camera, but she's doing board meetings in a hot tub.
She let it out, and it was so amazing, because they really do want to talk about their business and how they work. And all the people that we get from Alignable are so engaged, and they want to learn, and they want to know stuff, and they're so excited when their sales go up and when they get another market. And so we can't say enough, because, and I know this, guys, this isn't like a fellow, where we go, but we want to let you know that this is called networking. This is how you do it. You got to take a chance. Jeanette reached out to Chuck, and now we're connected, and we have him in our, and he has us. So then it just branches out, and crafters really do need that.
Yes, and that's a great point.
Yeah, and one thing I also love is the fact, and Yeah, and one of the things that you do say about when we connect on Wednesday is all about relationship, because
Right.
Jenny is not all of my business partner. She's like my best friend. We're like talk every day about everything. But we develop and I develop other relationships with everybody. I mean, and our team is so close. Like our vendors are like our family, and
Right.
we just don't treat them as vendor. We're like, hey, what can we do? Like if we have one guy that he's not too savvy on how to make a trailer, we have somebody in our team that's going to help him,
Right.
and so he can be, we're having the intro. um Jenny has created intros and exits for everybody practically on the team, almost everybody. But that's the whole thing, we all help each other. And like in
Logos.
your Wednesdays, yeah, and your Wednesdays are absolutely wonderful, that I love sharing, because if it wasn't for Alignable that I'm there, I would have never met Jenny. Jenny would have. It's a big. It's amazing, because I met Jenny through Alignable. Then she interviewed me, which we have never aired. I'm still waiting for the video. Anyway, so we go ahead,
We're losing.
and I know she took me in. We started with just a YouTube show saying, hey, let's go have fun with J&J. And okay, we're going to grab these crafters. And my calendar started getting filled. People started saying, yes, they're all from Alignable. I met them. Hey, I have this show. It's on YouTube. You want to come? Yeah, sure. And it started like that. And then all of a sudden, yeah, we're going to TV. I'm like, what? So I'm like, okay, now we're up here with the TV. I'm like, okay, so now it's getting deeper and deeper. But guess what? We brought all those people with us, in the sense
Right.
that now they have the TV show. Now they have Alignable and the TV show. And now they're telling people about the TV show. So guess what? It's a big giant circle going around and around and around. And so we had to have you, Chuck, so you can just say, finally, they could put a face with the name, because I'm always saying, I found them on Alignable, the platform I'm always talking about. And they're like, who is this? So now they can put a face with you, and now don't be surprised if your box gets full, and they'll be like, oh, I saw you on TV, and
I'm looking for it. Yeah, Chuck at alignable.com. You've got any questions about Alignable, send them my way. And we just want to make everyone as successful as humanly possible. Really.
Isn't that the key? Like you can be as in fact, one of the biggest fears that crafters have,
Right.
and it's a good fear, is they can't produce their product fast enough if they get orders. And so we try to talk to them about that. We had a gentleman on. He's Alignable. David's Alignable, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This man is amazing. He self-taught. He does threading, right? Most gorgeous pictures. You're going to see him on our specials that we're going to have next at the end of the year. But it takes him like 30 hours to make one small thing, right? So I'm thinking, those are beautiful. You need cards. You need start marketing your merchandise with what you're doing. You need to sell prints of these, right? Because you can see, if you photograph it right, you can see the threads. It doesn't look like a painting. And he's like, oh, well, I didn't think anybody, didn't he say that? I didn't think anybody would want that.
Yes,
like, you're kidding me, right?
It was amazing that he said that. Yeah, I was like, no, he didn't just say he didn't think anybody would have that. And it's gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous. I mean, literally, I looked at it, I went, oh my gosh.
It'll blow your mind. If you see it, it'll blow your mind. Yeah.
And one lady paid $1,200. What was it? She sold it for $1,250. Just one of them.
Yeah. We're not talking like needlepoint. We're talking he creates like it's like a tapestry. But it's with threads, and he the colors, the vibrancy, and the minute I saw it, I'm like, okay, you need to do cards, and you need to do. Why aren't you selling prints of those? And his website. He's not working his website, so all of these things that crafters get involved. Yourself, because you're in the content part. You can sit all day and make, Michelangelo could sit all day and, pound out, the the David or Sistine Chapel,
Right.
but if no one comes to see it, then you're not doing anything with it. So
Right.
I will tell you that there's probably another 80% of crafters just like David doing beautiful work that people would really want.
Right.
And they're not using Alignable correctly because they're
Right.
not getting the exposure that they need because they don't know how.
Right.
I'm
Well,
one of them.
it's also,
I'm on Alignable. What do I do? And
well,
she's
there is
still,
a class. There is a class for that Sue Brook teaches.
and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm a goober. I didn't know that. I'm on there.
Well, you know what? But that's part of it, right? Like that's what I keep saying to everyone. But I'm the communications guy too. Like I'm the token extrovert, and yet I have my own crafty introvert side. But I also know, please, my whole profession is if people don't know about it, it didn't happen. Okay.
Right.
So I'm like,
That's
oh my
right.
God, tell people about it or build these great relationships, right? Like the friendships that come out of these get-togethers and the way you meet people, whatever. Just be open to that. And we also have a networking for introverts class too that Sue does because Sue's driving around the country meeting small businesses, meeting our ambassadors, meeting people left and right. But she's like, I'm an introvert. I'm like, Sue, are you really an introvert? And she's like, no, I really am. You know, I don't want to like just come in and be like, hey, here I am, everybody. And I'm like, well, that's great. Let's build off of that. So there's so many introverts who are crafters by nature. What you were saying, you do it by yourself. You're creating by yourself. So it's sort of like, you know, go to groups where you feel welcome and share your sweetness, share your great personality, give advice in posts, you know, and get to be known, right? And then people will be like, oh, well, you did this for me, you helped me with this, and you did whatever. And then it's like, now what do you do? Oh my God, look at your crafts. Oh, I need to tell someone about that. I've never seen anything like that before, you know? And
you know, a lot of our crafters, you know, do pop-ups, and we're fine with that. We're like any way you can get your name out there, any way you can get your product out there is a good thing. It's never good to put all the old eggs in one basket.
Right.
But they take all this time to create a product, to put it together, to haul it all to the pop-up, to put their pop-up up, put their sign out, put all of their products out there, and they're quiet.
Yeah.
And you know, what I'll do is I'll go, if I see a booth that's quiet, I'll walk up and start talking to her and pointing things out, and guess what? People show up because they see activity in the booth. It's a natural human nature. If there's nobody there, nobody goes. But if you put one person, we tell people, bring your sister. Hey, give her lunch. You know, have her go out every 15 minutes and look. She doesn't say anything. You know, a person will come up and I'll say, oh, come on in. She's got great stuff. Did you take a look at that? I don't know this person. But all of a sudden she starts getting people in. And it's the same thing with online marketing. It's the same thing with, you know, any contact or any person you're using. You have to make that connection. You can't sit back and say, you know, if I make it, they will come. No, they won't.
Right.
You're going to go to the next
right. But keep going at it. And you know, there's a part I want to address here where you talked a little bit about crafting for meditation or for depression, to combat depression, anything there. I hear that story about setting up the booth, doing all that beautiful work, right? And then nobody comes. Uh-oh. Okay, you're a sensitive, artistic person. It's like, do not walk out of there depressed. Like that should actually be one of the goals. It's like, make sure you get out there and you say, hey, and you compliment other people on their stuff and be like, oh my God, what would be look at you two with your partnership or partnerships. What if you're like, hey, I do this, you do that. What if we did this together? And that also happens on Alignable. But also the pop-up events. It's just also combating the fear, right? When we wear, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to get too serious, but it really is. Sometimes it's just combating the fear or your own feeling not as much self-esteem as you should have. That's what I tell everyone. I'm like, if you're unalignable, you've been through a lot. Okay.
Yep.
You have built a business or your third business, or you did whatever else you were doing before, and just be a good person. Show that because everyone else is looking for other good people. And then other good people they can refer, they can recommend.
Referrals are everything.
There is, and that's what's exciting about all of this. And for the crafters, I mean, my brother Jeff he's also into some techie stuff and some digital stuff, all of that. And he and I got together for the weekend. First time we've had a chance to really talk about what his new business is. And I'm like, you need to do more on Alignable because you could do this, you could do this, and this is my baby brother. This is, I've been with him for a long time. I'm not going to say how many years, but, and so I'm setting up a conference call with him and with his partner on this, who's all excited about it, because obviously my brother knew all about Alignable because of what I've been doing. But I'm like, well, wait, you're on there. Here are some shortcuts. Here are some things you can be doing that I talk about at 1:00 on Wednesdays all the time, And I'm like, my own brother's got his business, and he's like, hey, I want to do more in Alignable. I'm like, okay. It's like the cobbler's shoes, right? Or the shoes for the cobbler's kids or whatever. And I'm like, oh, please, we're though we're trying to get younger every day, we're not getting any younger. And it's like, let me help him with this business, that kind of thing.
And it's funny you bring up family, because that's part of the crafter. One of the issues is that family members will say, oh, she's just playing, or he's not really serious, but they'll ask you for one of your products. They don't want to pay you. They want you to give them a deal, right?
Right.
And then they'll go somewhere else and they'll buy something from somebody else and pay them. And so it's always great to give your products. Jeanette and I are the worst. I'm the worst. She always yells at me. I yell at her. She's like, what'd you do that for? And I'm like, so we are the most generous group of people. We really are.
We are.
Our families don't always take it seriously. Okay. I have family members, they just say, oh, Jenny, she's always thinking of something, right? And then they're like, you have a TV show. I'm like, I told you guys, get on the bus here. So a lot of crafters have that in their head because they go every Saturday or Sunday, they do their pop-up, and their spouse or their sister or their mother will say, did you make any money? Did you make any money? And you're like, hell no, I'm a crafter. I just got $35 worth of fabric and spent $50 to be at the pop-up. I'm already in the hole. But I gave my business card out to 4 people, and they don't see it. So Alignables is a very marvelous place for people to get their strokes in, get their backs padded.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know. When I started, I was in the free program, right? I was invited to it. This is how it all started. I was invited to it, and I said, another platform. I already got Facebook, Twitter, and all that. I don't want to do another platform. And she goes, try it. It's different. Just try it. I'm like, fine. I got it. I was in Texas at the time, and I went ahead and I tried it. And I said, oh, this is different. And then it says connect with people. And I was like, how does this work? So I connected, and I did one of those. I think it was Girlfriend Biz Chat, right?
That's one of the big.
I
Yeah,
went
we
in
just did
there.
them in the newsletter. Yeah, you went to
Yeah.
that one.
Yes, I went to that one in the beginning and I fell in love. And I was addicted to Alignable, no lie. I went like from not knowing nobody to like having 1,000 something, 97
Got a lot of
connections,
people. Yep.
157 referrals and comments. And I was like addicted, like if I was hooked on phonics. I was learning, I had notebooks.
Hooked on phonics. I haven't heard that in forever.
It was hooked on phonics, and I was learning. I ate everything up, and then I was helping people, and then I was an arts and craft, yay! And I was addicted. 3 months went by. Boom! I said I'm gonna join the premium. I went and did the premium and everything. I said, "Oh, this is better." Went and got that, and I was like, "Woo!" And then I got hooked again. And I went to Premium Plus, and I was like, Jesus, this is really going now out there. And believe it or not, at that time, 95% of all my orders came from Alignable.
Yeah.
And with that came relationships and friends. I have one lady, her name is Joyce, that's on Alignable, and
Right.
she does Bella Baskets, something like that.
Okay.
And she became my number one repeat customer. And I'm like, oh, that's my friend. We started sending people gifts and everything. I mean, we became now friends. We talk once a week on the phone and
Oh
things
my
like
God.
that. So this relationship that we have, and then came Jeffrey, and then Jen came, and so I've
You're
gotten
like
this.
a matchmaker, Chuck. Like you're like the matchmaker.
Yeah,
Well, you know what? People have said it before. Believe me, not just Alignable, but me in particular. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's like, wait, you need to know this one. You need to know
yes,
this one. Which is,
Then I would have
why
never.
they set up Alignable, because
no,
people were telling. I don't know if you know the original story,
I
but
don't.
the
Go ahead,
the
say it.
the two guys who set up Alignable, Venkat and Eric, both lived in Acton, Massachusetts. Ironically, I was working in Acton, Massachusetts at a different company at the same time. Like we probably passed each other on the road 1,000 times before knowing each
Wow.
other. And Acton's a small town, but they
Yeah.
would go to different retailers, and the retailers would be like, "Can you introduce me to this person across the parking lot?" Okay, across the
Wow.
parking lot, because I really wonder what their business model is, or I wonder how they're doing. I wonder this and that. And they're like, well, they're right over
Right there.
right. But that's where this whole idea came from, which is business people are so busy doing their business, but they really need to be setting some time aside for networking, to learn from each other, to refer each other, to help each other, because we all know it's a battle out there. And by the way, speaking of cats before, this is Bo. Bo wanted to come and say hi.
Aw,
Bo
she's
is a bit of a
gorgeous.
crafter himself. Yes, sweet Bo. Anyway, but that's the origin of Alignable, basically saying businesses do need to introduce each other so they
And
can help each other.
oh yes, and that's an example how we got started. When we said we're gonna go live on J&J, it was Brittany and Sarah, and they're on Alignable as well.
Right.
And they came and helped us learn how to do all of this. I've never, if you would have told me 3 months ago you're gonna be on TV, I'm gonna go, no, we're not no. And look at us now. I'm like, oh my
Right.
gosh. So
Yeah.
it's the thing. It's like a web. It really is. It connects here. I started here, and now it's like all of this,
Right.
And I love that Jenny found me, and I said yes. That's all it takes. Some crafters are afraid to say yes because they're afraid to be successful, and they're scared. They don't know where they're going, and they
Right.
get that fear in them. So yeah, it is very interesting how Jenny took a chance and she just asked me. I could have said no, but I wasn't made that way. My mother said, "Try everything. If you fail, well, at least you tried."
And
Well,
at least you tried.
Yep, and we're both two nutballs, so it was like.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, she didn't know me well enough. Actually, if she knew me better, she may have said no, because she was like, I don't know what I just got into, but yeah, I usually she just says yes, and we figure out a way to make it work. And
Yeah, and our minds work differently, but at the same time, it's the
oh
same
yeah,
thing. It's so
But
funny.
that's good.
She'll come
That's
up with
great.
an idea, and then I say, yeah, let's do. I come up with that idea. Oh yeah, it's like
Right.
constantly feeding the jar of ideas. That's what crafters do. And sometimes we stay up to like 1:30 in the morning, still talking and yakking. We did a newscast that it was so funny. It was supposed to last 15 minutes. It lasted 55 minutes because we just went on a rabbit hole, and we were having so much fun. And
we told
and
everybody the news is over. The news
yeah,
is over.
news is over, but we was still there having fun, and people actually loved that. We were having so much fun that people loved that, and we got people's responses and things like that. And it's on the top 10 because I have to handle
Yeah.
the analytics. So yeah, it's one of the top 10 videos that people are watching us having fun and laughing and just being so funny, because we believe in being real. Like I said this show, we don't rehearse, we don't do nothing. We just come on and try to do the best we can to
Right.
just help everybody, show this vendor and crafter their beautiful work and things like that. We keep saying
Exactly.
that the show needs to be an hour. Right now we passed our even the word
Oh
of the
yeah,
day.
usually I have to tell you, Chuck. Usually she's already giving me the stinky eye because
Yeah.
she's gonna do her word of the day, and I'm thinking, boy, she's having a good time because she's totally like not going into that yet. So
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to mess anything up. I don't want to mess with it.
I don't. I'm like having so much fun. But the word of the day is very important, because one of the things that Jenny and I did ask, I said, one, it has to be fun. We have to laugh and just enjoy life. The second
Right.
one is I gotta have my word of the day because I want to encourage people. I gotta have my word of the day. And she said, okay. So I said yes, she said yes, and this was created. So we're good. But today is very funny because I never planned what's being said, Chuck. Everything happens with this book that's called New Day, New You by Joyce Myers. And I just picked the day, and it happens to be talking about what we're talking about, right?
of course,
No coincidences. Right.
And today is, are you trusting or worrying?
Beautiful.
Okay, and it says, lean on me, trust in, and be confident in the Lord with all your heart, mind, and do not rely on your own insight or understanding. In all your ways, recognize and acknowledge him, and he will direct and make a straight and plan your path, right? And that comes from Proverbs 3:5-6. But it says, if you don't have to worry about tomorrow, and that makes you happy. You don't have to worry about yesterday, and that makes you happy. You don't have to know how to do everything, and that makes you happy. All you need to know is that the one who knows you worries about for you. It says trying to figure things out will only wear you out. But if you trust in God, the answers, you can enter into his peace and kingdom, because it's basically you let everything, we have a phrase, let go, let God, and just let him
Yes.
go with your business. And that's it. That's my word of the day. And it always pertains to business. And one of the things that I love to do, if people want to hear more, that I do have my own show, Inspired Reflections, which Jenny made up. And again, so Inspired Reflections, I always do it on a Sunday live. I read it, putting God in your business so he can prosper you. And I've been getting a lot of good hits on that as well. So that is the word of the day. But we can continue because this is actually very fascinating. And Chuck, you never saw that side of me, so I keep that to myself.
Well, what I love about that is what I was going to bring up, ironically, was that crafters need to have faith in themselves. Okay.
There you
And
go.
yes, faith in another spiritual purpose. Of course, I actually believe that all of us, one way or another, regardless of your belief system, right? But all of us are directed to different talents. We do have
Yes.
God-given talents.
Yes.
Okay.
We all
Or
have
universe-given talents, depending on who's watching. And you're supposed to work with those, and you're supposed to have faith that there's a reason you have those,
Mm-hmm.
And so go forth and prosper that way,
Mm-hmm.
and don't, and another one for me, and it's a really old fashioned one. This is like our great grandparents probably use this
Okay,
regularly.
I want to hear it.
Don't hide your light under a bushel. Okay. Don't hide your light.
So true. Everybody
Don't
has a
do it.
light. Yes. And everybody has a light. And I love the fact that they can show it. That's the way it should be. Yep. You're right.
And they don't always, once you explore, a creative person is a creative person. How they express that comes in many different ways. So we may start off with one craft or one skill, but then it leads to another skill, and it leads to another skill. That the talent is within, and how that comes out is up to you. Some people, my daughter and I have a joke. She's a chef. I taught her how to cook, but she's a chef. I make the most amazing fudge. She can't do it, but her popcorn rocks, and I can't do it. I can't. I try. I say, honey, how do you make your popcorn? She says, Mom, do this, 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 and this. It sucks. I can't do it. I say, I'm coming to your house. You make me popcorn. I make fudge, and she says, give me exactly how I did it. She goes, okay, I'm done. I'm done with you. So it's the same thing. Some people, it's just there for them. And they could, you can be rocket science and still not be able to get one technique down. So crafters have to constantly be, just like you said, sure of themselves, of their skill. But they also have to make sure that they're not cutting themselves short. They could do something else. Jeffrey is our cartoonist.
Oh my gosh.
He works with wood, right? We set him out there, and all of a sudden he's cartooning, and I'm like, dude, you work with a lathe.
And he's doing it. I was shocked. It's like me too. I do my clocks, my fancy little clocks, and and then I'm good with people. Who knew I was gonna be a producer? I'm like, good gosh, and I love it too. Oh my gosh, I found my new love, and I'm producing and everything. And I just love it.
Crazy person.
But what's funny about that is, think about what that spins off of with your clocks. I don't know if you've thought of this. You're a time-oriented person. Okay?
Oh, she is.
You're building clocks. You're counting down. You have a funky countdown. You're the one that said to us, hey, quit talking. We've got the show to do. You're looking at your thing.
I never put all those together. That makes sense. That makes sense. See?
Isn't that funny though? I just love that.
Absolute truth. She is. She's like, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? I'm like, okay. And me.
Well, it's all part of it. I have to tell you, the brother I was going to tell you about, or I told you about before that we're talking about for Alignable, he also is a wonderful illustrator. He went to art school. He sold a couple years ago, he sold one of his drawings that I think turned into a painting to Brooke Shields. Okay. And again, this is just him getting out with his website and, marketing a little bit. I mean, he's a real introvert. And, then when my mom was still alive, so it had to be about 3-5 years ago, she was like, oh my God, Jeff and it's another Jeff. I wonder how many crafters are Jeffs. But he just sold a painting to Brooke Shields. I'm like, fantastic. That site must be doing something. And he's doing art shows and all that. But that's while he's also building a whole other business too. So, but it is it's that interior self. Yeah.
He needs to be on Alignable. He needs to be on our show. He needs to be on our channel.
I know, right?
You know what?
I was
thinking the same thing. He would be great. I'm going to bring it up to him in our conference call next week.
Yay! And this is how Alignable works.
Start with
we
Jeanette
want
and
to bring those.
Jenny, and then go to Alignable, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, well,
Well, we're
it's
gonna.
time.
Excuse me. Do we go over? I know. Yeah.
We always do this, Chuck.
Yes.
Basically, I have to tell her, okay, you're gonna show the commercial for the creative spirit,
Great.
and then you do the closing, and then I do the end.
Okay.
Well,
Now,
Chuck, I just want to tell you, it was such a pleasure having you on our show today. Thank you for being our guest, and I hope to see you again in the future. Okay, and
Oh
I'll
my
see you
God.
Wednesday
we're
at
going
1
to do
o'clock.
some fun things. We're going to do some amazing things, I think. And
You will both be hearing from me. We'll be doing a lot of things together in the next couple months for sure.
that rocks.
Oh,
I can't
thank
wait.
you.
And now
Yeah.
let's hope I can get through this without screwing it up. Okay.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Go.
She said puede, right? I know that, and I know Mexican food. That's it. My son-in-law is so embarrassed for me. I talk Ricky Ricard. I can't talk Lucy Spanish. All right, here we go, guys. So this is our commercial for our creative spirit, y'all. Remember, go to our website, subscribe, take a gander at us, look at us. You can watch us on your computer at thecreativespiritchannel.com. Go to Roku TV. There's Laverne. She's like, Mom, really?
Yes.
Okay, my dog is wandering around here. I'm not putting him on my lap because he's a bull terrier and he weighs a ton. So forget it.
Oh, okay.
But he's there. He's on the book.
Yes. He is.
Anyway, so see us on Roku TV, Fire TV, and Chuck, thank you so much. And we're off. Here we go.
Thank you.
Okay.